such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This. I'm your host, Pastor James Pittman. Again, as I explain, and I will continue to explain, I have these search criterion and have as these popular videos in Christendom pop up, I deal with them. And so again, Tim Keller's pretty popular. He popped up in my feed again, and a discussion with obviously a non-believer, a discussion about hell is had. Again, you can always look in the description of the original clip to see if I've taken anything out of context. By all means, hold me accountable. But let's play the clip.
If this is the only way to God, and if Christians are heading for a place called heaven, does that mean, therefore, by deduction, that millions of Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, Jews, all of whom hold their faith with enormous integrity, all of them are heading for hell?
There's a lot of people who were born in Indianapolis, Indiana, and they grew up in First Baptist Church there, who are also headed for a Christless eternity. Every human being chooses an identity. It's either based on the grace of God, or it's basically based on your own performance and your own ability, and therefore on your own self. And if 1 billion years from now you've put your hope in the grace of God, you will be beautiful and happy. If 1 billion years from now you base your identity on your own self and your own abilities and your own performance, you'll be miserable. In fact, you can see it even now. Self-centered people are miserable even now, not 1 billion years from now. So there are plenty of people who are raised Christians. There's plenty of people who were raised in First Baptist Church, but in their hearts have not turned toward the grace of God. People in other religions, unless they find Christ, I don't know any other way, but I also get information on a need-to-know basis. If there's some trapdoor or something like that, I haven't been told about it. But
if you go back and you look at my sermons, hours and hours and hours, I'm sure you can find a little bit of heresy. It's impossible to preach and teach without misspeaking. But the more and more clips I see of Mr. Keller, I don't know if it's an issue of misspeaking. The questioner says this. He says, if Christianity is the only way, then he brings up, what about all the other religions, Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus? And he says, and all of them practice them with an enormous integrity. You couldn't possibly know that, but be granted. His point was, how can you say that Christianity is exclusive, that it's only the Christian way? And so he's talking about people who clearly have accepted and live in a different faith. And when Keller speaks, do you see the sleight of hand? He said, well, there's many of people who grew up in First Baptist. Wait, so are you saying those who grew up in Sikh, Muslim, and Hindu, they're on equal footing with those who grew up in First Baptist Church? You see, no. One system is radically flawed, that if you believe everything taught in the faith, you still go to hell. The other one, First Baptist, you did not believe what the scriptures put forth. Big difference. But anyway, he's First Baptist. Then he muddies the water. And then it seems like he says, well, 1 billion years from now, he likes saying that. I don't know why. 1 billion years from now, if you don't have Christ, you won't be, beautiful and happy. You'll be beautiful and happy. So if you don't have Christ, you'll be miserable, he says. And then he compares the misery of non-believers that they will experience in hell to the misery that they're experiencing now. As you can see, people are self-centered. They're miserable now. No, I'm sorry. There is nothing on earth to be compared to the lake of fire. I'm starting to wonder whether or not Keller even believes in the concept of hell, of eternal punishment from an eternal God. Again, muddying the waters. And then when he goes to other religions, he says, when it comes to other religions, let me think. Maybe there's a trap door that I don't know about. Really? Really? It seems to me, again, I'm not an expert in Mr. Keller. Feeds pop up. I listen. I react. And I'm reacting now. And I'm starting to question Mr. Keller here. Oh, trapped. No, there's no trap door. There's no trap door. It's either Christ or hell. And I hope Mr. Keller is not ashamed of Christ and his words.
For such a time as this,